So I was lying there, bloody. It was obvious that my ribs had been broken. And to go from this hyper emotional peak where I was in psychosis and like I thought that I'd become famous, it was difficult to discern between fantasy and what was actually happening because there were some elements of truth to it, but it wasn't on the level of grandiosity that I had in my mind. So I went in there, riding this wave of psychosis and trying to help everyone because that's what I was about. That was my constitution at that point, is that I wanted to help people that were incarcerated. And I got in there and these guys didn't have money. They didn't have any commissary. Everybody was starving. I know I make my stories funny, but we were eating ramen flavoring out of toilet water because we were so hungry, and, really think about that. They were in a really bad situation and I went out of my way to help them. I got each one of them a package. I gave them free drugs. I posted their information to get them PayPals. And when I went to court, they must have planned to jump me, like, fuck this dude. After I was laying there on the ground, I hadn't mentioned this in the last video, but they were calling me a clown, saying that I'd never been to the feds. I was full of shit. That if I had been to the feds, I would be in the mods, which I'd asked the classification officer to put me in. I said, I need to be with parolees. I'm a convict. I've been to prison. I've done 5 years in the feds. I've done a violation. I've been at FCI at Victorville, USP Lompoc, FCI Oxford, FCI Terre Haute, USP Terre Haute on a holdover, MDC Los Angeles. I'd been through the system, so it's not like it was my first rodeo. And because I came in there talking shit to the cops, they put me in East One, the Gladiator tank, as revenge. And then I was with these bush-dwelling guys in Riddler. Second place. And when everyone was jumping me, I didn't go into too much detail. I mean, it was a traumatic experience. That guy Ben was laying on the bunk and just kind of watching in shock. He couldn't believe that these guys were doing that to me after I'd gone out of my way to be so kind to them. But that's just human nature. And that's one reason that there's lingering paranoia when you get out of prison. If you're in a rough jail, prison for an extended period of time, you're going to have a very honest understanding of the human condition, both good and bad. You see how animalistic it can be in jail, both on the inmate and guard side. You're treated as less than human. And I tried to bail this guy Riddler out. And after I was beat up, he came and he kicked me in the face a bunch of times. And he said I was a bitch and a punk for telling him that I could bail him out, and then not coming through with it. And, the irony is that I was willing to put the money up for it, but he was such a piece of shit that he couldn't find anyone to sign for him. And that's his real name. That's what he goes by, Riddler. If you're watching this, you're a fucking scumbag. I was trying to pay for you to get out of jail, but you've obviously accrued such a horrific karmic debt throughout your life that you didn't have one person that would sign for you to be responsible for you. If I was in jail right now and I needed to get out, I probably have hundreds of people that would do that for me because I try to be a nice person. I'm generous. I'm loyal. I'm not a rat. I've always been solid to these artificial standards in jail. He came and kicked me in the face. One of the little kids, like 22. I was always giving him counsel. I was always giving him advice because his girlfriend was fucking someone. It was probably a way bigger cock than his. Anal, too. She's like, fuck me in the butt and we'll just pretend that you're fucking my boyfriend in the ass because he's such a bitch. He's in jail. Yeah, it feels good. And this guy would cry to me and I give him advice. He came and kicked me while I was down. He's the one that held my arms while the shock collar came and kicked me and broke my ribs. Impressionable. Idiot. Where's he tonight? You know, he's probably sleeping in a tent or he's in county jail, because people that are that palpably evil have only bad things coming. You get what you put in this universe. They were calling me a clown, saying that I got my money. I told them that I got it from my manager. I got it from Boston George's manager. That's what I was telling him. E40's manager, Boston George's manager, who's my manager now. This is what I was telling him. And when I was on the ground, bloody and beaten to a pulp, they were telling me that I was a clown. I'd never been to the feds, and that I was a piece of shit because I was, taking advantage of some fat pregnant girl. They didn't even know what Karina looked like. It's just some fat pregnant girl. Then the cop walked by, and I'm leaking, and they had taken all of my commissary too. It's probably, I don't know, hundreds of dollars worth. It was in multiple property bags. They took it all, and they were all laughing, and they were all dividing it, between themselves. And they had my dope. And I knew that I was going to have to fight all these people again. It was just going to be a daily thing. And then that's that. I knew I was going to state prison. I knew I couldn't roll it up. Cop walks by. He sees me leaking. He says, "Leone, what's up, man? What's going on?" And I was like, I fell in the shower. And, I'm a clown. I'm a joker. Not a clown like they say. They said it like I was a bitch. The irony is that when the dude called me a bitch, I took off on him. I was beating him up. Anyone that was there, that's true. I was winning. I was beating him up, and all these little bush dwelling tweakers jumped on me, and that's what happened. So when I said that I fell in the shower, usually I'd have some Jim Carrey like mannerism or some sort of joke. That's how I deal with cops and inmates alike. I was just like, I didn't have the energy, and I'd been crying, and I think I was crying I don't even think it was because of the physical pain. I think it was like my feelings were hurt more than anything. Like, why would you do that to me? I was nothing but kind to you. And, it's like the kind of thing where it's like the equivalent of somebody panhandling, homeless person, panhandling. You give them money, and they take it from you. Instead of saying thank you, they pull out a switchblade and they stab you in the stomach and watch you bleed to death, and they laugh about it. That's what kind of gratuitous evil these motherfuckers were. So the cop when I said that I'd fallen in the shower, he kind of smirks a little bit. "Yeah, why don't you go ahead and stand up for me?" When I tried to, I really made an effort to stand. My body just collapsed. I had 3 broken ribs. And on top of the fact that I was kicking buprenorphine, one of the primary compounds in Suboxone, which stimulates your opioid receptors. And there's a kick associated with it, even though you're doing heroin. And that's another thing that was in my mind. It's like, as soon as he asked me to stand up, and I tried, and I just fell. And there's blood all around. The cops, the way that correctional officers are is they have the mentality where they don't want to do paperwork. So they'd rather you just be like, "Yeah, I fell in the shower." And they're like, "Okay, thanks." And they're going to go play, Uno with their homeboys and drink like, sugarless monsters. Well, I'm on a health kick. Give me Pepsi Zero or whatever the fuck it's called, It's those kind of guys. So when I couldn't stand up, he pressed the deuces, which is the button. It kind of has like a, I don't know, tracking mechanism. So when you hit it, they know where to run to. About 50 cops came running. All the Peckerwoods and everyone, they're all wide-eyed. That's when like the real bitch of you shows, the wolf pack mentality, It's like I'm beating this professional boxer turned stripper, whatever the fuck he was. I beat him up, or I was beating him up. I wouldn't say I full on beat him up, but I'd been taking fighting lessons from one of the top ranked MMA fighters in California at the time. I've put footage of that somewhere. I don't know, Instagram, I think. One of the baddest fucking motherfuckers that I know that I grew up with. He was teaching me how to fight. And he taught me how to fight because I knew I was going back to prison. And, I'd been in a lot of fights up until that point, but I really wanted to get good at it. And the thing is I did get a lot better at it because, with fighting, you get hit in the face. In high school, I'd be so scared to get hit in the face. Now I'm like one of those psychos, where I'm just like, hit me, middle finger up my ass, do it. When I like fart, oh, sorry, that's what happens when I'm angry. Oh, hit me in the face, and like you're just that. Once you figure out that you have adrenaline that will quell that pain, there's no such thing as getting hurt in a fight. What the fuck? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do that's worse than anything I've been through already? What are you gonna do fighting wise without a weapon that's worse than kicking methadone? Nothing. You're not going to do anything. I've been spiritually, physically, mentally, and emotionally broken. So many fucking. Physically is like the least painful out of all of those categories. And once you realize that, so now getting hit doesn't hurt. Now you got the thousand yard stare or whatever, and you're a psycho, you're the guy that's on the bus. And when a not even pretty woman, like a 4, sits next to you, you sniff her hair. She's like, can you stop doing that? And you're just like, I've been to prison. And they're like, oh, that checks out. Okay. Keep sniffing. You're like finger banging your butthole and sniffing her. Like, no, you're not that inept when you get out, but pretty inept. So all these cops run in, and all these guys are all spooked out. They take me out on a gurney. Like, what hurts? And I'm just not talking to them, I've been schooled correctly as a convict. You don't talk to police. You just don't do it. So they take me to medical. Now I have 3 broken ribs. No doubt that's what happened. I can feel it. You can see when you break your ribs, there's a collapse. You can tell when your ribs are broken. I mean, it is one of the most excruciating physical pains that a human being can possibly endure. I mean, I've never broken my femur, but I've heard that that's really bad. But trust me, the ribs are hardcore. So I'm on this gurney, and there's probably 30 cops, 30 COs in this medical room. And they're like, all right, what happened, Leone? I'm like, I don't know. I fell in the shower. You expect us to believe that? And I'm like, that's what happened. I don't care if you believe it. And they look at my knuckles. They knuckle check me. They're taking pictures with the digital camera. They're like, you were fighting. I was like, fighting while I was falling in the shower, fighting for my balance. Duh. My whole face is fucked. I mean, I look like an alien. I mean, they beat me up bad, I mean, and that's not the worst I've been beat up in my life, but it was, I'm not above an ass beating. Once in a while, I'm like, oh, all right. I'll take it. Hey, do you want my honey buns? You can have those too. Here you go. So they go, they're telling me that my knuckles are damaged, is what they say. Damaged. The fuck does that mean? Like I'm Matt Damon in Good Will Hunting? Well, he's a damaged kid. No, I'm not damaged. What the fuck? It's obvious what happened to me. And so the COs say, listen, if you don't tell us what happened, we're going to write you an incident report and you're going to get in trouble for it. Didn't matter. My visits were taken until like 2040 something, Police Academy 95 is out by then. Back to the Future 36, shit like that. That's like how far in the future my visits have been taken. So it didn't matter at that point. I'm like, I fell in the shower. I'm like, okay, we're writing you up. So I end up getting an incident report. I'm like, They give me an 800 milligram ibuprofen. I'm like, God, you guys really do cut to the core of me. I mean, I've been craving one of these motherfuckers so bad. Thank you. Thank you for understanding pain. I appreciate it. So what about my broken ribs? Are you going to take a photograph of that? Are you going to take an x-ray? Like, are you going to document that my fucking ribs are broken? Or they go, well, not with that attitude, young man. What? Not when you're being a convict and not telling us what happened. I said, nothing happened. I fell in the shower. I'm the one with injuries. They're like, you have knuckles. We're writing you up for fighting. Awesome. Fuck yeah. Thank you. I'm going to be kicking. I'm going to be kicking now because now the heroin's cut off. I don't know where they're trying to put me. Who knows? The hole or PC? Both of those I'm not cool with. So dope sick, beat up. They're not doing x-rays. They're not attending to my wounds. And they end up taking me to a holding tank somewhere in the bowels of Santa Barbara County Jail. And they put me in there for about 4 hours. A tranny comes in. A tranny that looked like Sylvester Stallone. Didn't even look like a girl. It looked like Sylvester Stallone. With like Rambo hair. 666 tattooed all over the tranny's face. And like all sassy, like, and they're, and I don't even know where I am in the jail. I'm in some weird, I have no idea where I'm in like a lot of times in jail, they have sections with tanks. So, even if you haven't been to prison, if you've been to county jail, when you're in the drunk tank, most jails have several tanks like that all over for various purposes. Disciplinary, people that are freaking out, people that they don't know where to put you because with class, they're obviously always going to have to get new housing. They're not going to put me back in that place where they know that I got beat up. They know that I was fighting. I'm getting a write-up for fighting, but they can't bring me back there, and I'm definitely not going to PC. So where does that leave me? The hole. Awesome. Yes. Prison reform rocks. Keep doing this shit. These guys are worth fighting for. Maybe I wasn't making a strong enough effort before, but these guys definitely need literacy expanded. They definitely need these draconian drug laws. I don't want guys like that living in a bush. They deserve a condo. Thanks for the life lesson, Santa Barbara County. So this tranny is obviously in the midst of some psychotic breakdown, and I started thinking, I'm like, is this how they're looking at me? Do they think that I'm some transgendered Sylvester Stallone? Now, I'm in a tank, and there's one right next to me, adjacent, right? But I can't see the transgender woman, Sly, whatever. But I can hear her. And it is the creepiest transgendered exorcist shit I've ever heard. Butt fuck me, Grandpa. Butt fuck me. And I'm just like, dude, it sounded like it was a mix of English with a little bit of Latin thrown in just for good measure. It wasn't butt fuck me, Grandpa. There's actually this, I know someone that says shit like that just randomly. I don't know. That's what he said. Butt fuck me, Grandpa. But it was very similar to that. I don't remember. It was like, they want to fuck me, Grandpa, in the ass. Satanic butt fucking. I'm like, hey, where are you from? Butt fuck me, Grandpa. I'm like, dude. Yes, I love my life. I missed the birth of my son. I'm about to be dope sick in, God knows, 4 hours. I don't know where I'm going. Who knows? I'm probably going to the hole. Probably going to be naked with some fucking banana toy up my ass or something. And darn, like, you need this. We get government grant money if you have banana toys in your asshole. I'm like, oh, for sure. How much do I get? Coffee cake. Like, it's just better and better and better. So I'm in there. I'm trying to talk to the Sly Stallone lookalike. Butt fuck me, ground. I'm just, oh man. I'm in there for hours, and it's this repetitive track. So I'm starting to think, I'm like, man, they must think that I'm some J cat, because I am. I'm not denying that. I'm a J cat, but I was done dirty. You cannot argue that these guys didn't do me dirty after what I'd done for them. Pieces, scumbags, straight up pieces of shit. It's like, well, that's weird. What? Bad people in jail? That's like a Twilight Zone episode or something. Very rare that I was with some scumbags like that. Eventually, they take me to another tank, and this tank is, I don't even know. I mean, I think what I'm pretty sure is where they put girls when they first, because like there's so now I'm like in the front of the jail. I think it's called Front Central, and there's like, a clipboard that has various bail bondsman agencies. They have a phone in there. I'm so stoked that there's. I don't even care what's going on, and like they throw me a mat. This is like some medieval shit. Like I'm in a dungeon or something. And do not forget, I've broken ribs. So like they're like, walk with your hands behind your back, because you have to walk, with your hands behind your back. And I'm just like, man, my ribs. And they're just like, shut up, walk with your hands behind your back, fighter. I'm like, the fuck, man. They throw me into this tank, but there's a phone, and then they throw a mat, and then they throw me an apple. I'm like, oh man, you know what? I was mad. I was feeling like I was kind of being mistreated, but the apple, just to be completely honest, kinda, it's fucking female, dog. That fucking apple got me through the night, fool. I fucking ate it and it made crunchy noise. It sounded like pretzels, fool. But some straight up fucking fighting pretzels, if you know what I'm talking about, kinda. At least there was a phone, right? So I call Karina. It's the middle of the night, but because it's this like phone in this part of the jail where they're, yeah, I guess it's like a booking tank, so to speak. And I think it's where they put girls, because they can't put girls in the drunk tank with a bunch of drunk guys, mostly homeless, that have like Santa Claus beards. You want to talk about sex riots? Could you imagine what that would be like? A bunch of wasted criminals that's co-ed. The bush tweakers are like, even though there's chicks, they're still butt fucking each other. They're just like, dude, it'd be hot if we did it in front of a chick. They're like, yeah, yeah, for sure. Hey, I think I left your beanie at your bush. No, definitely at your bush. Maybe after this is over, we can get like a bigger bush and we can both live in it and smoke meth. That'd be rad. All right, I'll leave you my girl's number. I don't got a phone or nothing like that, but I got this girl, and sometimes she lets me use it. Oh, all right. So I call Karina. It's like the middle of the night. It's free phone calls. It's free because like this is where I think the girls go, or somebody, or like I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's like a mini drug tank. I've never been in there before. I call Karina and she picks up and she's like, "Why are you calling me so late?" I was like, I got jumped. And she's like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah." And I told her the story, and she's like, "Oh my god, I paid that motherfucker, and he fuck that." And she's like, "I know people." I'm like, "Honey, we know the same people." And yeah, I mean, Midget Man's a bitch. We could probably get somebody to beat him up. Well, what's that gonna do? She's like, "Fuck that." You know what? Fuck that. And she's texting him while I'm on the phone with her, and she's just like, "Are you okay, baby?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm cool." And she's like, "Well, how bad is it?" And I'm like, "Oh, I broke my ribs." She's like, "Oh my god, are you serious?" She's like crying. She's like, Why would they do that to you?" And I'm like, I don't know. I heard they're saving up for like some sort of county tree that they can live under. And she's like, "Oh my God." And so she texts him, and and he texts her right back. And she's like, "You did him dirty. You're gonna get fucked off. Like, we know who you are, and like we're gonna send people. You know how girls get." And that's cute. I mean, I admire that she had my back like that. But he basically said, "Look, I took care of the dude when I was in there. Whatever they did to him, that's on them." She's like, "No, it's your fault." So they started kind of like fighting, and her and I are talking on the phone. And now with these free phone calls, you only get like 5 minutes a call. So it was like annoying because you'd like be talking for 5 minutes, then I'd have to call her back. It was all free, so it was worth doing, but you had to call back over and over and over again. I did this for hours, and she was like so sad. And while we're on the phone, the dope sickness kicks in, because I'm not on Suboxone anymore. Now I've been on heroin for like probably like a week, so or Suboxone takes a good like 10 days to kick, maybe a little longer. I want to say like 10 days is like the painful part of it. When I did it this last time, it was like 10 days. I was on GHB and other shit, but um 10 days is when it's like really bad. You know what I'm talking about. I mean, people do YouTube videos, the Blair Witch Project type Suboxone. They're like, it's day 6. I sharted today. I'm cold. And dude, this YouTube video sucks. Let's watch something else. Let's watch like some, I don't know, some kitten compilation. Oh, that's funny. Oh, look at that kitten do with the ball yarn. That's fuck yeah. This is way better than reading a book. Fuck yeah. Let's vote. You know. Anyway, so I don't know where that kind of stuff comes from. But so anyway, so we're basically talking, and the dope sickness is it's kicking in because Suboxone has a longer shelf life. So like you can be strung out on Suboxone, you don't even start really feeling the kick until like 3 days into it, and then it just creeps up on you. I mean, I don't know if anyone's ever taken peyote. I've taken peyote a few times. Peyote's hardcore, and it's very like warm. It's like hot. It's like this acidic bile bubbling up in you, and you're just like, and you just like venomous vomit spews out of your mouth, and you can almost just feel like the bile like brewing and then like just spilling out like it's like some bile. That's what it is. You can feel the heat of it, and you're just like, ugh. That's exactly what Suboxone feels like when you have a habit that's as bad as mine was. 8 or 10 strips a day, 8 milligram strips. Let's just call it 40 to 80 milligrams a day, which is astronomical. There's only a certain point where Suboxone even works. At that point, it's just like you're just doing it for the sake of doing it, which is true. I mean, I was addicted to the needle. I just wanted to shoot up something, and I'd get just as mad as I would with heroin, even though there's no rush or anything. I'm like, fuck, like trying to find a vein, and I could never find one. So the shelf life is much, much, much shorter for Suboxone for heroin than it is Suboxone. So I had my last dose of heroin, let's just say probably at 3 p.m, and I probably got beat up around 7. And everybody knows when you're strung out on heroin, 12 hours later, and you start getting sick. And then 24 hours, you're really sick. So Karina talked to me all night. Sun's coming up, and I'm starting to get sick, and I'm starting to get a little panicky. And eventually, a cop comes to bring me breakfast, and he's like, "Hey, Leone, I read that article about you in the Independent, man. And I just want to say I really like what you're doing. I remember with you when you were just a little pickle-faced 18-year-old punk-ass kid." I don't think he said punk-ass, maybe. I don't know. I had broken ribs. I was already a certifiable bitch at that time, so it's whatever. But he said, I'll never forget how he said it. He said, "I remember you when you were just a little pickle-faced kid." And this is like a nice older CO that had seen me throughout the years be kind of like a trouble guy going in and out of the county. And he's like, "I'm proud of you." And he's like, "And I agree, things need to change. Things are fucked up." He's like, "Are you okay? I brought you an extra milk." And, of course, I can barely talk. And I'm like, "I'm about to go viral." He was nice to me. And he's like, hey, you got to go see classification. So I told Karina I had to go. So now I had to go see the classification officer. It's this woman. And she talked to me and she was asking me about the incident. She said, what happened? So I fell in the shower. She said, what really happened? I said, I fell in the shower. She's like, okay. So you're no longer able to be in general population. I was like, all right, I'm not going to protective custody. And she said, well, they made that choice for you. I was like, let me tell you something. If you put me in PC, I'm going to take off on the first person I see because I'm just going to assume they're a fucking child molester. And I am not going to be in a confined area with one. I'm just not going to do it. She said, you have no say in the matter. You're going to PC. I said, what's my other choice? She said, your other choice, you're going to go into isolation. You're going to go into solitary confinement. You're going to be by yourself. You're not going to get visits. I said, I don't get visits until 2040 fucking whatever, from all my courtroom outbursts. So I said, I have no visits. She's like, you're not going to get commissary. I'm like, oh, no. No chili flavored ramen noodles for me. I mean, that sucks. I mean, really in jail, that's like such a big luxury. And you really do need that stuff. Everyone's like, they get 3 hots in a car. Well, okay. Go do a week or two in county jail and tell me if you don't need commissary. Yeah, there's nothing worse than starving. It's like in America, and like you're watching like you're watching like Maury and like Ellen on TV, and like they're giving like Ethiopian kids like fucking hundreds of thousands of dollars, and like they're like in some underdeveloped part of the world, and you're sitting in American jail. Now, mind you, you're in jail. You're not in prison at this point. It's innocent until proven guilty, but that's not how they treat you in jail. You are fucking guilty. You're watching other parts of the country, they're treating completely random people better because they're not criminals. And people be like, well, that's common sense, man. If you're a criminal, you're a bad person. Are you? I mean, that depends on what your definition of a criminal is. If you're out there raping someone, yeah, you should be treated less than human. If you're murdering someone, yeah. If you're doing armed robberies, if you're going around doing home evasions, if you're exposing yourself to kids at parks with a trench coat, if you're masturbating in public. I've masturbated in my car, but not on no weirdo shit. Crystal meth shit. If you're doing weirdo shit, you deserve to be treated like a weirdo. If you're doing violent shit, you deserve to be treated like a violent person. But our definition of what a criminal is and isn't is so undefined. Drug addiction should not be a crime. Shouldn't it? The American Medical Association says that it's a disease. And why do they say that? Because it has the characteristics of a disease. It's progressive. It's ultimately terminal if it's not treated, but it's treatable. Therefore, on that premise, it is a disease. And, it's one of those things where they're like, ew, you shoot heroin, or like you hear Rush Limbaugh. Oh, these Hollywood liberal types with their cocaine and their hookers and then he gets strung out on painkillers and he's like, we need to do something about addiction. Addiction is a very common part of the human condition. I don't think that it should be criminalized. Now, I was in there for pimping and pandering. Do I think that that should be illegal? Well, it really depends on what that means. I think there's a problem with consensuality in this country, and 2 consensual adults should be able to do what they want. Why can I go on Pornhub and watch 2 people that are getting paid to fuck, but I can't let someone pay me to fuck me in the butt? Yeah, $9, bro. Go ahead and shoot that. All right. No, I'm cool. Oh, you only have 5? All right, man. But next time, come with 8, at least. Okay. Anyway, prostitution should be legal, gambling should be legal, drugs should be legal. Oh yeah, dude. If drugs are legal, more people will do them. Really? That's not what's going on in Portugal. Actually, in Portugal and in Toronto and in parts of the world where drugs have been liberalized, decriminalized, uh, what's the other thing? Decriminalized, legalized, liberalized. Those three things. Addiction rates have gone down. Communicable diseases rates have gone down. Uh, Accidental overdoses and sobriety rates are higher because when you remove the criminality element of it, you used to go to prison, and you still do in many states, for a simple possession. Think about how ludicrous that is. Your life is so fucked up that you're sticking needles in your arm. That's not normal. It's not like what like normal happy people do. I can't see Keanu Reeves being like, "Do you have a 3-pack? I feel like escaping. I'm just so tortured right now." Oh, whoa. I couldn't see it. Super happy people like that don't stick needles in their arms. It took me a long time not to romanticize drugs and really like be like, whoa, wait a whoa, this shit's pretty whack. I've got Hep C now. Yeah, but that one does like isn't AIDS. Oh yeah. All right. You want to see what's on Netflix? Yeah. Let's go. Oh, I've already seen that one. All right, man. I think how ludicrous is you're depressed enough, your life's fucked up enough where you're sticking needles in yourself, you're smoking crack cocaine, and then they come and put you in jail for that disease. Your life already sucks. What do you think? You go to county jail or you go to state or federal prison, you get out and you're like, you know what? My life sucked before, but now I have a felony. I can't get a job. You took all of my material possessions away. I think I'm ready to clean up now. And you're like, well, that happened to you. Why did that happen to me? Because I have a family that could financially support me when I got out, help me get back on my feet. You know how many people don't have that? So I try to be empathetic towards all of that stuff. And this was a nightmarish situation for me. So my only choice was protective custody or the hole. I chose the hole. Problem was, they didn't have room in the hole. So she's like, well, you're going to go back to Front Central or wherever I was, or in that weird section. So now, because they were out of room in solitary confinement, because they didn't have room in the hole, I had to go be in a tank by myself, like some straight Hannibal Lecter shit. I was in the bowels of the jail. They gave me a mat and I had no phone. So now I had no way of contacting Karina except for traditional snail mail. But my proverbial convict career was so important to me. I couldn't possibly go into protective custody. You know, it's on the job application. Well, what are some of your skills? Well, I always stayed in GP. What's that? General population in jail. Oh, dude, hired. Why didn't you say so? I didn't know you were Captain Political. Let's go. So I go to this tank, because I'm so fucking foolish. These guys just did this to me. I'm still adherent to the Peckerwood shit. Yeah, I'm down for the woods. Fucking, So I end up going to this tank by myself. No phone, no map. And satanic Sly Stallone tranny is there. But fuck me, grandpa. Shit like that. I'm like, all right, great. Now I start kicking. Now it's full blown. Who knows? Time lapses, and you can't. There's no sunlight because you're in the bowels of this jail. You don't know what day it is. I start getting sick. I start getting really sick. It's like the Suboxone is not in me, and the heroin was like tricking me into feeling better than I was, but I was still having muscle spasms. Remember I said. So I start shaking on like, it's like bars, but it's like a door. So you can kind of like shake it and make noise. And I'm just like, hey, please help me. Nobody comes. I'm doing this for like 20 minutes. Help me. And finally someone comes and they're like, "What's up, man?" And I'm like, "Dude, I'm so sick. Can you please get me something?" And they're like, "Hold on, let me check the medical record." Dude, we already gave you your powdered Gatorade at 4 o'clock pill call. We already gave you 800 milligram ibuprofen when you got your ribs broken. 800 milligrams is the strong kind, bro. I was like, yes, I know. Just please help me. He's like, hey, man, I'm not the one that stuck the needle in your arm. I said, motherfucker, I'm on Suboxone. I'm suffering because I was on a prescription medication trying to better myself with maintenance drugs. Why am I being penalized for that? He said, hey, man. They always talk like that. Hey, man, if you can't do the time, don't do the crime. I'm going to go drink my Diet Monster late. I'm just like, all right, man. So I tried to tough it out, you know. About another hour goes by. I just can't take it, man. Fucking bones feel like they're splintering apart because I'm feeling that synthetic withdrawal, the Suboxone synthetic withdrawal. I'm feeling the panic. I'm feeling the broken ribs for that matter. It's amplifying the existing withdrawal symptoms. And I start screaming, and it just echoes and it reverberates through the bowels of this jail. Nobody's fucking cares. There's not one person that cares in the world except for my family and my friends. And Karina's probably worried sick about me. They don't care. And, you know, once in a while they'll walk by and they'll just laugh. I'm like, man up, Leone, Jesus Christ. And I'm dying, you know, and I'm going through that intense part of withdrawal where I'm going through the panic phase of it. Finally, I start yelling the only word that I know gets these motherfuckers' attention. Man down! Man down! Just shaking. It's making all this noise. And as I'm doing it, I'm exerting so much energy, I vomit. You know, I puke up that extra milk. It's all over me. There's this chunky, there's like chunks of bologna and it's just processed jail food. This warm vomit just spews out of me. And because I'm dope sick, it instantly goes cold. You know, it feels like the Wicked Witch getting water thrown on her. Fucking, there's not real steam coming off of me, but that's what it feels like. And now it just feels cold. I have vomit all over me, all over me. My blue scrubs completely covered in vomit. And I just start crying. I just can't believe that I'm in this situation again. You know, I'm kicking in jail all alone. No idea if I'm going to do years in prison. I'm missing the birth of my son. These piece of shit white dudes that I was looking out for, they all jump me just because they could pull a jack move. I vomit on myself. I got the police laughing at me, and nobody cares. And I don't know if there's a worse feeling, and I think that's why I start crying. I mean, I was really emotional during this period anyway, but like, I don't know. I just kind of like broke down during this point. And, you know, I remember screaming, just like screaming into the night, begging them if I could get another change of clothes because the vomit was making me so cold. And I actually took a piss on myself just to try to warm myself. So I like sat there in my scrubs and peed just to try to get some warmth because I was so cold. And I like took the sleeves, you know, like I like got inside of my shirt and I was like shivering, but it was like covered in vomit. And I just kind of tried to like sleep. But, you know, when you're kicking, you can't sleep at all. It's just these like flashes of little cat naps. And then you hear, you know, butt fuck me, grandpa. And you're like, fuck, you know, and it wakes you up. And like when you finally fall asleep when you're kicking in jail and then someone wakes you up, you get so mad. And then finally a cop comes by and I'm like, you know, I'm in my shirt. I'm covered in vomit. I've pissed on myself. And he's like, what's wrong with you? And at this point, when I see him, I kind of like see him walking towards me. And like I'm in my shirt and I look up at him and I just take my arms out of my shirt and I start flopping around on the floor because I'm trying to fake a seizure because I'm used to being in federal custody. And when you're kicking, like on that level, they actually take you to the outside hospital and you get shots of Dilaudid and you get painkillers and, or maybe they'll put me back on my Suboxone. And I'm like doing a very convincing seizure. I mean, seriously, I, I don't know. It was some of my better work. And he just leaves. Doesn't say, "Are you okay?" Nothing. He just walks away. Probably like going to fill out his fantasy football thing. And I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude, like, and it's not better if I'm in the tanks. I'm in ISO and I'm not going to PC. I can already imagine without, I'm just thinking of like some slideshow of like all the years of me being solid. There's like me like building sandcastles on the yard with like all the peckerwoods. Like I have my arm around them. There's like this like super sad like montage music. Well, not sad, like happy. And it's like maybe it's like the Cheers theme song where everybody knows your name. And like it's just like showing me I'm like doing like the classic prison grip, like holding someone's hand. There's another one where it's like all of us with like our hands out like this. And there's one of me like looking like a girl, like Marilyn Monroe, like, but all these guys are holding me up, like all these solid woods, just like a superimposed thing of the peckerwood. And then like it just says like Ryan Leone, solid peckerwood, 2003 to 2017 PC. I'm like, no, there's no way, can't do it. So I'm enduring this pain, zero fucks given. I'm like, whatever, I'd fake this seizure in front of this guy. It's not doing anything. Finally a lieutenant comes, sergeant, right, this Hispanic woman. And she's like, hey, get up. What are you doing? It's fucking disgusting. You're in your own vomit and you're in your fucking disgusting junkie. Look at you. Look at you. What do you think your parents would think of you right now? Fool? You know how they talk to you like that. They always condescend you in jail. What would your fucking parents think of you? And I'm just like, can you get me clean linen? Like, I'm a human being. I don't need like, what the fuck? And she's like, can you not use the F word in front of me? I'm like, you just did 3 times. Why do you think you're better than me, you stupid fucking bitch? And she's like, well, she starts getting like the Ricky Ricardo temper. She's like, hey, no, don't talk to me. I don't like when you talk to me like that. That's fucking disrespectful. And that's fucking not cool. You treat me like the sergeant that I am. I make $46,000 a year. Fuck you. And I'm like, no, fuck you, you stupid fucking bitch. Like I get up and like I'm in the bars and she's like, what'd you say? I said you're a stupid fucking bitch. That's what I said. She gets out her notepad. She's like, okay, hold on. My English isn't the best. Let me get this straight. Stupid fucking bitch. I said, yeah, you're also a cunt. She's like, cunt. You're a fucking Republican slut. And she's like, She's like, I am a Republican, not a slut, though. Democrat slut. She's like, whoa. I ain't no them, no. I ain't no them. Okay, no, what else? I just keep talking shit to her. And every time, she's like, for every time you've called me the bitch, for every time you've called me a cunt, I take away more of your good time. You stay in fucking county for jail. That's where you belong, you worthless piece of shit junkie. I'm like, damn. So she leaves, and now I'm full blown kicking. Now I've just lost good time. I've lost more privileges. Couple hours goes by and there's a cop, and he's like one of the nicer ones. And I'm like, hey, and he's like, Jesus, man, what's up? What's wrong with you? I mean, the vomit's caked on me. I've been crying. I've been like sitting there with like the shirt around me, like just crying, and just my life sucks, I mean, it is what it is. I think most people would tell this story and be like, no, dude, I was solid. I was big. They're coming out with an action figure of me with a big old whammer, hammer, pendulum swinging hammer cock because I'm a peckerwood. No, I was crying, and it was hard for me and it was a painful experience. Finally, this nice cop came and I told him that I had to take a shit. So he, he escorted me to this like private bathroom, and he took me into this bathroom and he's like, okay. And he opened the door and he just locked me in it. And there was no light in it. It was just kind of like pitch dark. And there was like barely a little light illuminated from the little window. And what I did is I took off my clothes I took a shit naked. Of course, I beat off real quick. I mean, damn, it's dark in here. Oh. And what I did is I got butt naked because I was in these disgusting vomit laced clothes, and I had all this urine on me. And what I did is I wrapped myself up. There was a couple rolls of toilet paper in there, and I wrapped myself up like a mummy, just to be warmer. And I actually like wrapped myself. Literally, I look like a mummy. I had like toilet paper, and I like had my arms out in front of me, and I just kind of like passed out like this, like I looked like a dog in like a body cast or something, or like a mummy. And I remember the lieutenant, like I must have fallen asleep finally, and like I just remember the lieutenant shining a flashlight and being like, "What in the actual fuck are you doing? Fucking white people are so fucking weird. I swear to God, this must be the fucking drugs you guys do. You guys are fucking weird." And we'll get into this amazing chapter of my life in the next third prison term installment. Thank you guys for still having my back. Check out the Paul Narcan Project website. It's up now. Thank you guys all that helped me get it to that point. Really means something to be doing something in his honor and to be helping save lives. And, we're got the website up, registered with the Secretary of State now. That's a process. I did it on LegalZoom. It's going to take a while for that status to go through. But in the meantime, I'm continuing to fundraise for it. I'm continuing to work with the manufacturer to find out how to get bulk purchases. Right now, they're saying in states that it's not free. It's $75 for one unit. So there's some subsidies and grants and stuff that I can get. But anyway, that's what I'm working on. Please like, comment, subscribe. My social media, all my different links, Cameo, all that stuff is in the pinned comments. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for checking in with me. Don't check in, but thanks for checking in with me. That sounded really bad. I have to edit this whole video. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you guys, though. Seriously, shit's crazy out there right now. Stay safe. I do love you. And palabra.